Hello and welcome to Navigating. And this is the one of the episodes of AI series. There are two explainers, one interview with an expert, and one with you guys. Welcome to Zui. Welcome Vedan. Excited to be here. Finally, I think this is the first episode for our new year resolution that we want to be consistent now in our video podcasts. So today it's going to be about AI, and the topic I chose this topic because everything now has AI suddenly, and we know how disruptive technology coming from Silicon Valley usually is. Sometimes it is good, but most of the time it is something that is not really necessary for our lives, but it's really thrown in that way that now we have to use it, such as maybe phones, mobile phones, and Instagram. Like we don't need it, but now we need it because it's just thrown at us 24 hours in the last 10-15 years. So I think ChatGPT AI is that. And I want to, before we start discussion, I want to differentiate between AI because a lot of us are going to get confused because there are two definitions. One is the conversational AI that we use, that we sometimes refer to as technology, and which includes mostly AI chatbots like Gemini and ChatGPT. But the actual AI is a bit different as well. That is used in computing to solve medical issues in medical systems and climate change and other computing that companies like Google and Amazon and other Apple, for example, require. So that AI. We're not talking about that. We're talking about AI that is shown to us, which I think is not actually AI. And well, I don't think it's actually not AI. It's something that these chatbots use to predict some of the like predict the next best word in a sentence, and then we feel as though it's talking with us, but it's not that. So if you even have any questions about it, you can ask me throughout this episode. But I hope that the basic definition and what we are going to focus on today is clear. My first question goes to you. How do you use AI chatbots like ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity in your life, professionally, personally? So you can start with Zui and then Vedan, you can continue from that.
I think Vedant should start. I started last time.
Okay. Thanks for respecting the host. Vedant, you can start.
So, like the way I use AI, actually, what do you say? It actually fits your definition of what AI is. It's not technology, because what I use AI for is basically something that we used to use Grammarly or tools like Quillbot earlier for. So I personally use AI and only for my work related purposes, and mostly for stuff that I am really bored to do, and it's mostly what you could say is donkey work, like maybe correcting the grammar of something, or giving it some giving it my text and saying it to correct it and put it in a better what do you say construct it in a better
Mhm.
format. And then some other uses for AI that I use is just what I use Google for, like a search engine, like search the web and get me this or that, some results that I want, which I am probably too lazy to go through 10 articles of Google from. But then uh, the thing that I find myself doing a lot whenever I use AI is to double check whether or not the information that ChatGPT has given, because I use the free version, right? I think there are paid versions for ChatGPT which give you more accurate and better info, but they do not offer that in the free version. So what I do is whatever info I do get, I make sure that I double check it from the source that it has mentioned. And earlier, when ChatGPT was very new, it used to give like very random information. And I used to, not rely on it. But with time, I think it has gotten better. But I still make sure that I double check all the sources and if the information, the numbers, the figures are actually correct on Google from whatever source that it has mentioned. Sometimes it does turn out to be that it's not exactly what it has mentioned. So then I correct it myself. And whatever, uh, like, what do you say? For language purposes, I make sure to add my stuff to it as well, because there are some very typical chat GPT, what do you say?
Yeah, patterns.
Hmm.
The biggest thing is the dash that
In
it
dash.
Yeah, the
uses.
Yeah.
It
M
uses
dash
so
and
many dashes.
exactly, and it uses phrases like not only but also a
Not
lot of
only, but
times.
Yeah,
also, yeah.
that's the
True.
most typical one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like it's not just a podcast, it's a movement.
yeah.
Hmm.
Exactly.
And you can easily highlight that when you see
Yeah.
anyone's caption or post these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I make sure to give it a lot of good prompts. So it is not like it doesn't look like a beginner's work or something. But yeah, that is mainly what I use AI for.
Yeah.
And you work in the PR industry, so like
Yeah.
typically I think that's the biggest use is like proofreading articles, and that
Yeah,
could
because a
save you a
lot
lot
of
of
the
time.
corporate language and a lot of the corporate terms, like, most of it you're not familiar with, and sometimes it does get repetitive, and you do need some kind of variety. And after a point, your mind is like when you do a lot of monotonous work throughout the day, and it is the same thing that you have to do it in five different formats and there is no creativity in it, you actually start running out of ways and you
Hmm.
probably start using the same terms over and over again. So that is why I use it, so that there is some variety in it, and mostly because it's the same stuff over and over again and it doesn't really make that much of difference there. So yeah, as you said, it's useful there.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think very similar to Vedant because I am a copywriter, so I have to write a lot of stuff. So again, I use AI for the same thing. I use mainly I use ChatGPT. Sometimes I use Gemini, or recently I've started using
Mm.
Perplexity as well for research purposes. I think so. Mainly my in my job, what I use, I also like Vedant. I use it only for my work purposes. I usually don't do any personal, give me a caption for this or what can I, because very recently, actually, I did not think about this, but very recently I have started to realize that people actually are very dependent on AI
Yeah.
for their personal lives. They are
Mm.
asking everything that they asked to Google. Now they are asking it to ChatGPT. A few days ago, one of my friends was asking me for a caption, and I refused to give them one for their personal story, and they asked ChatGPT for it. So that was their first response, which usually I am not very accustomed to this thought process where you first think of ChatGPT as a search engine. So that is something that I still haven't started. When I have a doubt or I want to research something, my first response is still Google. I go to I type it in Google and then I see. But also, like I mentioned here, is that Google has also started using their AI. So
Yeah.
even if I
So
search on Google, the response that
it's
comes in
yeah.
the AI section is what I read. So I
There's
guess
there's like a funny reel that I saw about this. So the creator was like, okay, the every time you ask something to Google now, and then the AI that they have, Gemini, comes in and starts pouring water
yeah,
down, because it's like I did ask your AI, but you're still
yeah,
like using AI. So it's like
yeah,
whatever you now search on Google,
exactly.
it's going to use AI now.
Exactly. So that is one thing that I started facing. I was searching on Google and all of a sudden the whole AI response comes and that's the first thing that comes up. So you end up reading it and then you go down if you want to, read further. So that's one thing. But the other, like most important thing that I use AI for is when I have an idea in my head and I want to write it down properly. So I put it on AI. I say that this is my idea. Can you just structure it properly so that I can present it forward? So that's usually the thing. And also in my field of working, I have to generate a lot of copy, which is very
Yeah.
similar to very similar in nature.
Hmm.
So then what I do is I usually write 1-2 copy of that particular type of
Hmm.
copy that is needed, and then I ask ChatGPT to replicate it and rephrase it so that I can have more options to go forward with. And another thing that I use it for is sometimes when I have to crack a bigger idea and I want to write a campaign or think of a campaign for something, then I use it to understand insights. I ask ChatGPT if there are any insights in this particular sector that I can think about, and then I think of an idea and then I give it back to ChatGPT to
Hmm.
write it properly. But of late, I have started sort of realizing that maybe I'm too dependent on ChatGPT, because I realize that when I have to think of something, the first thing that I do is go on ChatGPT and get insights. Whereas earlier it
Mm.
used to be that I started thinking of insights and I actually went somewhere and I read something so that I could,
Mm.
think of an insight and then come up with a campaign. But now my first thing is to go to ChatGPT, get the insights, then think if the insights are relevant,
Mm.
and then think further on the insights if I can get something new.
Mm.
So that is one thing that I've come to realize, that the dependency on ChatGPT, even if it is, you know, very small changes that are happening, but it's still like increasing day by day.
Yeah, because we are the generation of Google. Because
Yeah.
before Google, people who didn't like when Google was new, people used to go and refer to textbooks and dictionaries and newspapers to do all their work. And
Yeah.
then Google came in, and obviously there are going to be early adopters for any technology, and they will be like, okay, I'm using Google now, but others will be, I see something on Google, and then I verify it from the textbooks and the books I have,
Right.
and then I do that. And but we are like we were born after Google was a thing. So that's why we are, it's like Google is ingrained in us. Whatever
Mm.
we want, we're going to search on Google. And now ChatGPT and AI has come in where this generation who will be born either after AI, or they are like uh, going into the age where they have internet access and ChatGPT is a thing, is going to be ChatGPT for them, or
Mm.
any other AI chatbot where they are going to first go and refer to that. ChatGPT actually helps me in research as well, because I think one of the biggest thing I have realized when I used to go and search on Google, I had to spend a lot of time just shortlisting and filtering sources. But
Mm.
obviously, ChatGPT now does that, because if I specifically ask, okay, I need five quality resources and which are published in reputed journals, it will kind of shortlist the other things, like, and give me the top five articles or top five papers that are there. There's obviously a risk where I have also realized, like Vedant said, that it can confirm your bias, because it's
Mm.
like there's so much information now available. If you want to find something, you will find that. So if you are
Mm.
going in there in a very skeptical manner, and you already know that this is the answer and I just want proof for this answer, there will be something that is available. Although I haven't seen ChatGPT completely confirm misinformation. It still
Mm.
gives you like, okay, but there is this other side, but it's not verified, but it's not like completely accepted by the wider community. But it's like so much context and so many details that someone who already has a bias will kind of ignore that anyways. But so yeah, and like you said, I have seen a lot of people now using it for personal use and professionally as well. Almost everything now goes through ChatGPT. If
Mm.
you want to write an email, you will say, what's the harm in actually just giving ChatGPT and saying that just improve some bit.
Mm.
And it's like for strategies and for documentation and for legal documents. And that's where I feel like it shouldn't happen this way, because like you are just feeding the machine data, and
Mm.
the companies that have made chat gpt are not accountable to you, and they're not
Yeah.
going to say like your data is secured and we will not share it, if even if the US government kind of asks us to share that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's very hard to go into the settings and then search that don't use my data to train your models. That is also very hard to do. So it's kind of training, whatever we are doing, it's trying to understand the behaviors of humans. And perhaps some of our audience may not use ChatGPT personally because they are not accustomed to voiceovers. But
Mm.
now almost all AI chatbots have voice. So you can literally just talk with it. And a lot of people are doing that, because if you have an idea, you can share that. It's going to give you a positive response. And one of the biggest reasons why people are getting addicted to chatbots, or they are shifting from Google and everything to these AI chatbots, because affirmation is a big thing in human
Mm.
psychology. Like, we don't want someone who criticizes us. We want someone to appease us. And if I share, okay, I want to open a company that sells banana to entire India, like if someone shares it to me, I will probably say that it's a flawed idea, like ten different companies already do it, but ChatGPT won't do it, right? It's going to be
Mm.
more positive, and it's going to say, okay, but consider this, you can do it. So obviously they are going to talk with ChatGPT. So that's happening a lot, and people are using for personal use. Another, the thing that I talked about, I have seen a lot of reels of creators now collaborating with ChatGPT, which is obviously their agenda to make more people in India use ChatGPT. And they're like, okay, he wants a gift, he's asking ChatGPT, what should I gift my mother, what should I gift my grandfather, or how to cook this, how to cook that.
Mm.
So I'm like, again, it's the same thing like the Blinkit case, right? Do we actually need that? Yes, it's going to save us time, but if we are just punctual enough, we won't have that problem. So it's the same thing for ChatGPT for me. If they're promoting it in that way, if you want to cook something for your family, just learn it first from your family and then do it. It's not like you need to surprise them, and you don't know, like you are 0% in cooking and then immediately you cook one of the best meals. Don't do that. I mean, why do you need that, right? It's the simple thing that if you do it, you don't actually need chat gpt right now. Professionally and programming wise, I can still understand, research wise, that yeah, it's kind of really, really beneficial. So that's one thing. Anything else before the next question? I asked you the next question. The next question is, how do you think AI is going to shape our industries as well, like the PR, advertising, journalism, social media? That's one thing, and also movie and content industry, because we closely follow that, and we love to give our opinions on that. There was a relative that had recently visited, and they were talking about AI as well, and they were really, angry about, this shouldn't happen. AI movies should not happen because actors really uh, give it all, and they take a lot of efforts. Making a movie takes a lot of efforts, so it shouldn't happen. That mainstream is now all AI based, and you can also read up, a lot of posters now of movies are AI based. So
Mm.
they're not even paying graphic designers that much, and graphic designers have been working on their art for the last 10 years. Whenever that this technology came, where Adobe Premiere Pro was a thing, and art and creatives was a big thing, all these graphic designers are really passionate, but they're not getting the jobs, for example. So yeah, my question is, how do you think AI will shape all of these industries? What's your opinion on it? Yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Mm.
So, I think there are two facets to this. One is how people decide. Sorry. One is how people decide to use AI, and the second is how the system regulates the use of AI. So there are these two are the facets of it. The first is that ever since technology started coming in, ever since the first time that we probably had a computer, uh, there was of course a shift in people's mindset, where they had to go from actually doing it by their hands and then getting the computer to do it. So that was also a shift in a sense. But and I think AI is also similar kind of shift, but of course we are progressing in technology, so it's always going to be one step forward in how to make our lives easier. So that's always going to happen, but I still feel that there are a lot of things that can be taken into consideration even when you are using AI. For example, if companies are not getting graphic designers to get a poster made for a movie, for example, they are getting it done by AI, then what can be done is to get the graphic designers to create that poster, even if it is through AI, and then beautify it with their own talent. Because you know for a fact that AI does not give you a perfect kind of output. Even when I use it, I know that I can get a copy from AI, but I will have to make it better because it does not understand the emotional nuances that come in creativity. It will give you a framework of something. Yes, in when you look at it from a broader lens, it might feel like it's a great output, but probably when a graphic designer sees it, they're not going to think that this is the best that can be made for this particular movie, for example. So if we start educating people on how to use this AI better and how to involve people involve that particular set of people into making something that is made with AI probably, then I think that we might get closer to solving this problem. Because you cannot be, when everybody around you is using AI, you have to jump on the bandwagon because then they get the upper hand if you don't do it. So you have to adapt with technology is one thing that nobody can escape, especially in industries like ours, like for Vedant also and for my industry also. If a graphic designer or if a copywriter right now does not know how to use AI, or does not use it in their daily work, then somehow you are setting yourself back from all of the people who are using AI. So you have to do it. But then I think there has to be some kind of process to it so that you completely don't rely on it
Yeah, but
the way that
because
I
I
have
mean
also.
the 2 points that you said, just remember the next point what you were saying, because
Yeah, yeah.
AI, like you're saying that it does not understand emotions right now. Like right now is
Right
the
now.
key
True.
word here. And the second thing is, I was going to say, yeah, you're saying that like you give it to graphic designers, but we know that companies like to cut cost wherever possible.
Yes.
So like if a graphic designer, if they are hiring 3 graphic designers to do their job, but now there's like, you know what, AI will do it, because as a graphic designer, you know what are the flaws. Other people do not know what are the flaws because they don't look at it that way, right? I don't have that knowledge to see if an ad is good or not. I will make my own mind, but you
Mm,
professionally, you know, like what is a better ad.
true.
So for you, you might say that no, we need to follow this process because we need to put out a very good ad. But for the company, they might say, you know what, literally 5 people will care about your perfect version, but the 100 will care about the ad going out and what they're watching it for 10 seconds and then that's it.
Yeah.
So how do you then put up a case against using AI? Like, I'm with you. I'm not saying AI should be
Yeah.
used. I'm saying, like, how do you then put up a case and say, no, you still need to hire all these professionals,
Mm,
maybe ask them to use AI, or maybe don't. If they're giving you the if they're giving you the work that you want, how
mm,
does it matter if they're using AI or not, right?
right.
So, yeah.
100%. I don't, honestly, I don't have a solution for this problem. And I know that I have been going through this because even in my workplace, the number of copywriters and the volume of work that comes in cannot be dealt without the support of AI.
Hmm.
It just cannot, because your brain cannot compute that much. You cannot constantly churn out copy, and you cannot constantly keep on writing. Even for Vedan, you cannot constantly keep on writing stuff. So you have to depend on AI,
Mhm.
because companies are thinking that with the use of AI, the work has gotten simpler, so we can get more work in, we can get
Yeah.
more business
Yeah.
in, and at a lower cost, because AI is free. We're not paying a single penny for it.
Yeah.
Neither are the companies buying ChatGPT or getting it for their employees. Most of the companies are not
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
that.
Of course. Like mid
Yeah,
scale will not look to buy the premium model because it's working for
exactly.
them. Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel the companies, like, they're not even talking about it out loud. They're not saying it that you should use AI.
Mhm.
They're just pushing us to do it.
Yeah.
With the volume of work that's coming in, you have to do it. There's just no other way. So I don't know if there is a solution for this, but I feel, honestly, if the higher management or if the people who are running the companies, they take this into consideration about how, like you said, of course, the AI is not computing emotions right now. But if we can take that into consideration and understand that emotions still play a big role in creativity, and that is what humans still have, and we can still work with, then probably this might get regulated a little bit.
Mhm.
And then my second point is about the actual regulation from the system, about probably the government, or a
Yeah.
body that is only putting out regulations about how AI should be
Yeah.
used
Yeah.
in a workplace, or how AI should be used in personal lives also. So that there have been the regulations have been put on a lot of things even before. For example, porn has been regulated before. They regulated in countries where you have to be 18 plus. You have to give some kind of verification to be able to watch it. So there can be some kind of regulation that comes for the use of AI also. I don't know how to do it, because I am not an expert for that. But
Yeah.
I think if a government body takes that step and regulates the use of AI, then the companies also in turn will have to regulate the use, and we don't completely get dependent on AI and lose people, and
Yeah.
the people don't lose their jobs.
Yeah. Because, and again, just Vedan, I'll come to you. I know that you want to speak, but like the systems that you are saying are at play here, the exact thing applies for movies as well. It's up to
Yeah.
Netflix and Hotstar and Disney and these big content making machines to
Yes.
actually say and promote AI
Yes.
content. Because if they do, or you look at PVR and these big theater chains, they say, yeah, we are going to give more theaters to AI content, then that is what going to happen. Then that's going to replace. So that's not AI replacing us. It's the
Hmm.
people who are in charge of
Yes.
distribution of content replacing actual actors with AI. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
True.
yeah. Yeah, Vedant.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree. Like, I have a similar opinion. I personally always felt that AI will not take away or
Hmm.
replace human jobs because, like, whenever a new technology comes in, we have always seen this. Like, when probably calculators came,
Hmm.
the jobs of the people who were doing it manually probably diminished. So they
Hmm.
probably upskilled and switched to something else. Uh, Earlier, we used to go to shops for mobile recharges. We used to pay those people, but now we have the option of recharging our own phones from, ourselves. So then
Hmm.
probably you could argue that their jobs are gone. Similar could be said for translators. When Google Translate came in, a lot of the jobs of translators gone. So I think AI is something that is another technology that will probably take away a lot of the beginner junior
Hmm.
level jobs. But again, the argument is still there that something like ChatGPT needs a human to run it. It won't
Hmm.
run on its own. You need someone to put in the prompts and get the results. So you cannot say that AI will completely replace or take away jobs. I agree that it will take away a lot of the beginner level jobs, and probably companies will cut down the workforces. But that, again, as you said, it's up to the people in charge who are doing this. Is not actually AI who is replacing us, because
Hmm.
as we discussed earlier as well, you do not take the final output of whatever ChatGPT has given you and, like, put it out. You still need to add human touch to it. I
Yeah.
remember there was a movie that came out recently which was completely made by AI. It was on
Yeah.
Bharat or Ramayana, and people absolutely hated it. Like, it received a lot of
Hmm.
criticism online. So that's what it goes to show, that completely AI generated. This is my personal opinion, because right now when I look at posts, may it be Instagram captions, may it be LinkedIn posts, may it be the ad content that I see, I immediately recognize that it's AI.
Hmm.
Because as you said, we highlighted that, like, the M dash or the phrases
Yeah.
that we are
Pattern.
now familiar with. So a lot of people will get familiar with it over time, and just like ads, people will probably get fed up with it, because you'll see a lot of similar content going around, and after a point it'll get saturated where every post feels the same, and that is the point where you will, or when people
Hmm.
will start to look for creativity or add that human touch. It
Hmm.
will probably take some time. This is my personal opinion, but it will happen right now, because the AI, the ChatGPT wave is new. Everyone is, because it's kind of something that you absolutely need to use in your jobs. Everyone is using it, but somewhere down the line, I feel if companies do implement OpenAI to, or anyone using AI to put a watermark or some kind of a disclaimer that this is AI generated content, people will soon get fed up with it, that they don't want to see AI generated content, because it, as you said, right now it's imperfect, but somewhere down the line it will become very perfect. And I feel that people will just not like it, and they will
Hmm.
want that human touch may it be to movies, may it be to designs, may it be to the content that we read. You might probably soon see books that are completely written by AI, but will you actually learn anything from it, or will you actually read it the way, or
Hmm.
because a lot of the things that we see as people, may it be movies, we know that we are looking at it from a director's perspective or someone's perspective that has put in a lot of effort into it. But the
Hmm.
moment I personally find out that this has been generated with a prompt and there is no actual emotions or anything put into it, I will lose the will to watch that content. There will be a lot of
Hmm.
people like me who will not probably watch it, and that is why it will not completely replace humans, I feel. It will take away a lot of jobs probably, but not completely replace
Yeah.
everything.
And just to like clarify, if you if you want to use the right definition of the AI, or if you want to use the right terminology, you should actually, or we should actually say, it's not AI, it's text based machine that is generating new kind of information based on the data sets that it has been provided, that includes all of the data that has
Hmm.
ever been published by humans.
Hmm.
So AI, if you assume it like an entity, like in movies, so it
Hmm.
should actually give you, you type in, okay, give me the cure of cancer. It should actually be able to give you the cure for cancer, but it's not going to be able to do it because humans haven't found it yet.
Hmm.
Once someone finds it and once someone publishes a paper and we go through this rigorous system of criticism and experimentation, and then we finally have something, only then will these AI chatbots be able to say, this is the
Hmm.
cure for cancer. So that's why it's very important that we distinguish what we're talking about, and like whoever talks with us about AI, like,
Hmm.
okay, don't consider AI as this sentinel, Autobot and Decepticon type machine
Hmm.
that has its own conscious. It's a machine that generates patterns
Hmm.
that we know as language. So that's why I think I'm a bit optimistic as well. Like, even if these market forces push AI a lot, there will be eventually a time when people will realize that it's oh yeah, okay, it's giving us that kind of an output, but that's it. Like,
Hmm.
what's next from it?
And
Unless,
I think
yeah.
another point is that people within the industries, like I recently saw a podcast of Anurag Kashyap where he said that he's completely rejected ChatGPT. He's
Yeah.
never going to use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And he also doesn't, I think, watch Netflix or something. He has a lot of DVDs at his home. So there
Hmm.
will always be people within the industry or people who appreciate art that much that will probably not entertain AI content that much. There are
Yeah.
also two things that I have, because you asked how will AI affect us going in the future. There are two things that I do have concerns with. One is the deep fakes or something that
Hmm.
people use AI to generate with, and it actually seems so real that you
Yeah.
don't know if it's AI or not. That is where like this podcast or other
Yeah.
media literacy comes
And
in.
video evidence could be actually not really
Yeah.
good in the court
Exactly.
cases now.
And
Yeah.
that needs to be something that is worked
It
upon,
needs to
because
reduce.
I'll
Yeah.
give you an example with my own mother. Like she watches reels on Instagram. She showed me a couple of reels and I immediately told her that this is AI, like this is AI content. This is not something that has happened. So since then she always comes whenever she feels suspicious that this might be AI. She always comes and asks me, is this AI? And then I see, it is easy
Mm.
to identify. So I tell her, so if this kind of thing is spread among people, that you should actually verify, or there are actually tools that you can use to verify if something is AI or not, it will actually help a lot in the long run. Another
Hmm.
thing that you have done a reel on it where uh, people use AI to as their therapist or to talk
Hmm.
about all their
Yeah.
personal problems. I I'm scared of doing that personally, because of the way that I do not trust OpenAI, because
Hmm.
you do not know what these people do with your data and who they sell it to. You never know whatever private information you're giving to ChatGPT right now. Somewhere down the line, OpenAI may use that information and sell it to other companies, and then just for ads, for them it's just money, but then it's your private information getting leaked, and you have no way of getting
Yeah.
an assurance that that will never happen. With a therapist, you have that clause where they cannot reveal whatever you share
Mm.
with them to anyone else. But do you have that guarantee with ChatGPT? And it's not just for vulnerable information that you share, even about the if you go and ask AI for the type of caption that you post, it will know what kind of posts you
Yeah.
normally post on your account,
Hmm.
how frequently you do that, where do you go to, and that's just very valuable data for companies. So that is another concern that I have with ChatGPT, and that is why I'll
Yeah.
never personally use it for these reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Instagram also has, started putting out that this is made by AI, which was a good step, I
Yeah.
think, in again regulation of how AI is perceived by people. They have a full section of AI reels, but they have mentioned that this is made by
Mm.
AI, and every time even somebody, if they're putting up a story where they have used AI to maybe beautify it or uh, do something with it, they make sure that the AI tag is there. Even in the post, it is there. Of
Mm.
course, it is up to the people who are posting it to put it up to say that this is made by AI, and it is a collective responsibility for us. But maybe if this regulation gets more stronger and they run it properly, they make sure that there is a system that identifies AI, AI based videos and images, and there is a tag that goes with it. They're they're regulating it basically. Then the problem of deepfakes, which has been a problem for a long time actually, can
Yeah.
reduce to an
Yeah.
extent. Of course, people will find a way around it and do, like they always do. But this can be the first step in
Yeah.
doing it. We can put up a system where identification of AI is done while people are posting stuff like this, and then that can be regulated.
Yeah.
And this is
And
something that can be done, because I remember when I started working in this industry, the government had introduced guidelines for
Yes.
creators, for influencers on Instagram to reveal whatever product they're endorsing. They have to
Yeah.
mention that it is a paid partnership. Earlier, they used to do it very subtly. People did
Yeah.
not know. But now, if you see, everyone posts it because the
Yeah.
government
hashtag
has
ad. Yeah. That's it.
Yes.
yes, the government has, I think they have introduced a fine if they find that you're doing
Yeah.
this and you're
Hmm.
not. So it is possible if the
Yeah.
government impose some strict guidelines,
Yeah.
companies and creators will have to reveal whatever content is just again up to the
Yeah.
people in charge if they want to
Yes.
do it.
And yeah.
And even
This.
for sorry, even for reels, when we are watching reels, if there is a content that we don't like, we usually report it. We say that this is indecent content. We say that it's vulgar or it's discriminative. So we can have another option there where it says that it is AI content. When
Yeah,
people identify it as AI, probably it can get reported.
yeah.
So that is also one thing that can be
Yeah.
done by Instagram. But again, it takes regulation, and they have to also have a system where stuff like this is regulated by their
Yeah.
internal team, and then uh, the permission for posting, or probably
Yeah.
even if it is posted, it is taken down later on.
Yeah. And yeah, so I think we are done here. Hopefully, if AI is regulated on social media, we would stop seeing these Hulks and Iron Man going for Congress and BJP candidacy. And it's enough now.
It's
Enough.
Harko for you,
हल्कू,
Akhilesh.
हल्कू ले लेते हैं, मैं हल्कू में ले रहा हूँ मैं. Though, yeah, Vedant, do you want to say anything before I end?
No, I was just saying that AI is a very fancy term, because back in our day, when we used to play games, we used to just call it the computer. I'm playing against the
Yeah,
computer, even though it was
yeah,
AI.
yeah. So, yeah, in conclusion, so it's not AI versus us, it's the stakeholders and regulators and systems that are going to force AI on common people, selling us a dream that AI does your job and you can paint in nature, which is not going to happen ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the episode. Thank you, Zui. Thank you, Vedant. And if you want to know more about AI and other stuff, such as why is Indian TV news bad? Subscribe to the channel and go and watch other videos. All right, that's it. Until next time.